Hey everyone, my name is Guy Bickle. I'm one of the head data nerds here at Coordona, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of a AI voiceover, you get me. I'm live, and we're going to go ahead and talk about Snowflake AI and how it marries well with your CRM data. Specifically today, we're going to be focusing on customers that have Salesforce. Keep in mind, this solution works for any data source. As a data-focused company, we're asked all the time about AI. How can I make AI work with my data? And we wanted to find a way to empower organizations that have data-driven AI capabilities. The data part is the most important aspect of this. We want the AI to be based on the foundation of your business data, not the general public's. So we've had tons of customers ask us, what are some of the alternatives, some of the AI tools that are available right now with Salesforce? We're really excited to show you about Snowflake and how it can actually check off all of these boxes around security, speed, cost effectiveness. When we talk about security, we're focused on the fact that the data never leaves your data warehouse. The LLM is brought to your data, not the other way around. That is absolutely essential in today's business world. You do not want your information leaving the security of your environment. We also wanted to find a solution that was extremely scalable. Snowflake works with Fortune 100 companies that deal with terabytes of data, but it scales perfectly down to that small to medium-sized business company that just has a few gigabytes of data, and it's priced accordingly. It's very approachable, and we're going to show you how well it works with the small record set that we have in our work. So let's jump into it, and let me show you the system. What you have here on the screen is a very traditional web-based agent interface. If you've worked with Claude or Gemini or ChatGPT, this looks really familiar. Down the left-hand side, we have a quick menu system to take a look at previous chats, look at any sessions we've had there, maybe some artifacts or charts that you've saved from other interactions. And we have this common interface in front of us where you are prompted to ask the system a question. There's one key difference here. Unlike your traditional chat interface, we have agents. This little pill drops down and shows you all the different agents that have been configured. So what's an agent? They're configured to focus on a subset of the data within your organization. You don't want the AI spending tons of time looking at every aspect of data when you're focused on projects. You may have a team that is focused on case management or a marketing team. And each one of these divisions in your organization are going to have very specific job roles. The agent should match that, and it should be focused on a data set very specific to that job function. Give you a little bit of background on our organization. We're focused on data-specific implementations. Every one of our projects is tracked inside of our Salesforce system. We have all of our metrics. We use it to help with our billing. We look at project success. We track risks and issues in there. So our project analysis agent is going to focus on that data set here. So when we're first logged in, we could ask any question, but we also have some predetermined questions that we can configure for your users. This really helps with onboarding and letting people who aren't familiar with what the system can do and just prompts them with a couple of questions. So let's take a look at that first one. What are my total hours by project classification? In our business, we do data warehouse solutions, data integrations, and data conversions. Those are the three big pillars of our organization. So I want to take a look at the total hours by that project classification. So the system is going to interpret my question. It's going to generate a query, execute that query, and then show me the results. And it's even put together a nice little bar chart for me. I would consider this one of those level one beginner style questions. We're asking the system to generate numbers that I could generate inside of Salesforce. I could go into Salesforce and I could create a report that would give me the same information, but it definitely isn't going to do it as fast as that was. So let's go ahead and let's start making changes to this. Instead of having to go back to a business analyst and say, you know what, that chart's great, but I need it in a pie chart. I can just go ahead and ask the AI to do that for me. It's already got the data, so all it's going to do is reformat it and generate a pie chart for me. There's my pie chart. And furthermore, I could click this Explore button and I can actually see some details behind it. I can extract that data if I want to. I can do some further filtering, whatever I want. But let's go ahead and move on. Just know that you have the ability to even tweak it further. So our next question is going to be, what is the breakdown of hours by employee for that data conversion slice of the pie? So we're refining our data set by asking it questions inside of this conversation. I never have to go back and ask for the original question of what are all my billable hours? I can refine the question through conversation. So I can actually see the breakdown of different resources within the organization and what they're working on. Now, again, let's go ahead and filter in a little bit further on projects that Allie's been working on. So if I'm going to be meeting with Allie, I've got my project manager hat on. I've got to sit down with her, understand what's going on with some of these projects. I can get that result set. Of course, this is live data, and that's why some of those values are blurred out. It's just hiding and protecting some of our customer data there. So let's go ahead and change gears. Let's go ahead and put on our PM hat. We're going to go bump it up to level 2 and take a look at how I can use AI where I'm not instructing it exactly what to do. I'm just asking it a question. Here, I'm going to be working with our fictitious Bread Pit Bakery, and I want to generate a project status report for the project. I didn't give it any instructions on what that has to look like. I'm letting the AI do that. It's actually taking a look at our semantic layer, which is something we haven't covered yet. The semantic layer is incredibly important to this process. It is translating some of those cryptic field names and actually explaining back to our agent where to find that data. And because of that, I can ask it a question like, I need a project status report. And the system already knows the relationship between the tables, what fields are available, and it's interpreting that and generating a report for me. So I've got this great project overview. I can see all the tasks that were on the project. I can take a look at any projects that are open. I can take a look at total projects hours logged. I also have our risks, issues, actions, and decisions, our RAID chart, and take a look at those as well. This is actually a pretty easy report that I could copy and paste and send that right to a customer on a weekly basis. I didn't have to implement any third-party software. I didn't have to instruct the system on what to do. I just gave it a simple prompt. So let's go ahead and throw one little curveball at the AI. One of my stakeholders at the company is Spanish speaking. So let's just have that translate that into Spanish. And the system, using its AI capabilities, will take that report and instantly translate it into Spanish. It didn't have to go reprocess the data. It already had that report. It's just translating it for us. Okay, so now we are going to jump into what I would say level 3. This is where we're really going to start to leverage the AI capabilities of the system. I'm going to provide here a prompt, and you can see we're asking it to pull the 5 most recent emails that we've shared with Brad Pitt. I want to analyze the sentiment of each message. Being able to read the sentiment of an email message is very powerful with AI. It's actually reading the email and taking a look for anything that would actually jump out as a potential issue. What was the tone of the email? Those are things that are extremely time consuming for people. We want the system to highlight any red flags related to the account relationship, maybe identify any service problems. We also want to cross reference each of those emails against any of the RAID items and see if there's any correlation there between them. And at the very end, we're going to go full circle and we want to go ahead and create a task in Salesforce due by the end of the week to follow up with Brad with any of those open action items. Now, typically, if I just left it at that and said go, the system will go ahead, come up with a whole plan, run it by you, ask you, does this look good? Do we want to go ahead and do that? I know the system's going to generate this for me, so I said, no need to confirm, let's just do it. So I'm going to go ahead, turn this on over to the system, and it's going to take a look at what I've asked, and then it's going to come up with this task list to get that accomplished. Now this here, because we're going beyond just a simple report, this is going to take a little bit of time. We're actually having to go and read emails, look at the sentiment, cross-reference it, and create an action plan for us in the system. So I'm not going to bore you with this, and we're not going to sit here and just wait for this while it does some thinking. I'm going to go ahead and let it process, and I'll show you the results here in just a moment. All right, here we are. We actually get a rundown. We can see the last 4 emails. We can take a look at any potential red flags. One of his responses, Brad was a little non-committal, something we may want to take a look at. We actually had a rate issue that was logged but never resolved, something else for us to drill into. And we sent out an email today asking for direction on one of our open rate items. We cross-reference everything, take a look, see if there's any potential issues, and then at the very end, we have a task created in Salesforce. So let's go over into Salesforce. Here's our Brad Pitt contact. I'm going to go ahead and refresh. And look at this. We have a follow-up with Brad, open item. It's got a due date at the end of the week like I instructed it. It properly related to Brad and the Brad Pitt Bakery with those open items tasked. That's just one example of Snowflake going back to Salesforce. It can create action items. It can update records if you see something and you want it to be updated, maybe a status on an opportunity, or you need to close out a case. You can instruct the system to go back and interact with your Salesforce data. And finally here, we are going to do one more of these level 3 AI related items. We're going to have the system take a look at all of our successful data warehouse projects. And we wanted to help build a campaign to get the message out to our other customers that haven't implemented a data warehouse. We want to see what's successful, and we want to highlight those notable wins. I'd also like to promote this on LinkedIn, so let's have it create a post while we're at it. So this is another one of those really deep thinking processes where it's going to take a look at a lot of different data in the system. It's going to cross-reference it with customers that haven't had a data warehouse solution. It's going to help me put together a campaign. And at the very end, let's go ahead and have it create a LinkedIn post for us. So in this case, because I did not instruct it to just run, here is the plan. Step 1, step 2, all the way down, step 5. That looks great. Let's go.
1 minute later.
Okay, that is all done. Now I got to be honest here, I had to blur out a couple things because this is real customer data and I want to get that protected, but you can see the results and get a gist of what the system returned. We had a visual snapshot of all of our data warehouse projects and we get a nice chart there to help us visualize that. We get a highlight of some of our notable wins. We get the account, the project, some of the items that drove the decision for that to be some of our top projects. Here's a couple big picture wins, things that we might want to mention in our campaign. Then we're given a list of our top customers ranked by revenue that are not data warehouse customers. This is our target audience. The system was able to generate that for us. We got a couple of the notes behind that, and then we have some messaging that we could use. This is actually a template for an email that we could drop in. And then finally, there's that LinkedIn post. Let's go ahead, screen from the top of the mountain. This is what we're doing, and no better place to do that other than LinkedIn. So that is our quick demo of some of the tip of the iceberg things you can do with AI, Snowflake, and your business data. Now, the call to action here is we want to help get your 30-day trial up and running. Reach out to us. We'll get that 30-day trial configured for you, and we will reach into your Salesforce, extract a handful of objects so you can test with, and we will do the AI enablement and semantic layer definitions and get you guys up and running so you can actually try this with your data. There's no better way. We're so confident that you're going to love this, that you're going to want to use us to actually get this over the finish line. Thanks, and happy AIing.